You know that feeling when you walk into a room full of folks who've already decided you don't belong, like you're some kind of punchline they can't wait to laugh at you. That was me, Emily Harlan, stepping onto the dusty parade grounds at Camp Valor back in the summer of 22, my boots barely laced right, feeling every inch of my 5'3" frame swallowed by that godforsaken camo jacket that hung off me like a bad joke. The drill sergeant, this grizzled bear of a man named Kane, he spots me first, eyes narrowing like I'm the reason his coffee went cold, and he bellows, "Hey, short stack, you lost? This ain't no knitting circle. Sweetheart, this is where dreams go to die screaming." The guys around me, 48 of them, all built like brick walls with attitudes to match. They erupt in this chorus of snickers. One big dude, Derek Hayes, linebacker shoulders, and a smirk that could curdle milk, leans in and mutters loud enough for the whole line to hear. "Who let Barbie crash boot camp? Bet she's here for the free yoga mats." And there I am, heart pounding like a war drum in my chest. But on the outside, cool as creek water, just adjusting my pack straps slow and deliberate, staring straight ahead, 'cause if I looked at him, if I let that fire in my gut show, they'd see the ghost. I really was the one who'd crawled out of hell 3 years back and wasn't about to let a bunch of rookies drag me under again. See, Camp Valor wasn't just any training pit. It was the East Coast's meat grinder for special ops hopefuls, where the weak got weeded out faster than weeds in a Georgia yard, and I'd signed up under a name that wasn't even mine anymore, chasing some kind of normal after a rock chewed me up and spit me out. But normal? Huh. That's a fairy tale for folks who haven't stared down betrayal with a rifle in their hands. A rock. October 20, Operation Shadow Veil. My team, Eagle Shadow. We were the tip of the spear, ghosts in the wires slipping through enemy lines to snag intel that could have toppled a whole network of smugglers peddling arms to the worst of them. And Major Voss? He was our handler, the silver-tongued brass back at base who fed us coordinates like candy, promised U.S. air support that never came. Turns out he was in bed with those same smugglers, skimming millions off black market deals. And when we got too close to the truth, he flipped the script, sold us out for a fat offshore account and a quiet retirement. 10 of us went in, 7 came back in body bags, DNA reports faked clean as a whistle, and me, Riley Ford, me tech, was partner in Nate Ellis, the doc with hands steadier than a surgeon's scalpel. We barely clawed out alive, vanishing into civilian shadows, cause trusting the chain of command felt like betting your life on a loaded dice. But hiding? Man, that eats at you slow. Like rust on old iron, you wake up every morning wondering if today's the day the past catches up. And there I was, playing recruit to blend in, bearing the ache of losing my brothers under layers of sarcasm and sweat, telling myself this was redemption, or at least a way to spit in fate's eye. The days blurred into this grind of push-ups till your arms screamed mercy and runs that left you tasting blood. But the real war was the whispers, the shoves and the chow line. Derek cornering me by the gear shed one dawn, his breath hot and beery from last night's contraband, growling low, "You're dragging us down. Harlango plays soldier in your daddy's basement. Leave the real work to men." And Kane? He'd egg it on, pacing like a caged wolf, barking at me during inspections. "What's your damage, girl? Win a pity slot in the lottery? This ain't equal opportunity daycare." Inside, though, I'm boiling, part rage at these idiots who couldn't see past my ponytail, part this deep, gnawing guilt that maybe I deserved it, for surviving when better souls didn't, for letting Voss's greed turn our family into footnotes. Sophie Reed, the one other woman in the platoon, she'd shoot me these sympathetic glances over mess hall slop, whispering once under her breath while we scrubbed boots, "Don't let him break you." Empty Reed, just scared of what they don't get. But even she didn't know the half. How every night I'd trace the faded eagle tattoo across my ribs in the bunk, wings clipped but still itching to soar, reminding myself I wasn't here to prove shit to them, just to me. Then came the obstacle course, that first real test, sun baking the mud into cracked leather, Kane whistling us off in waves, Derek blazing through in under 3 minutes flat, all flex and fury, slapping high fives like he'd conquered Everest. And when my turn rolls up, the whole platoon gathers like it's pay-per-view comedy, bets flying on how quick I'd flop. I hit that starting line feeling the weight of every eye, every snide, "Watch this" from the sidelines, and something snaps, not loud, just this quiet click, like a safety flipping off and I move, not running blind but flowing, low barriers folding under me like paper, rope climb hauling me up smooth as silk, 'cause I'd scaled worse with bullets zipping past in Fallujah, mud pit a joke after crawling through razor wire that left scars deeper than skin. Tires swinging wild. I thread him like a needle, timing my steps to the rhythm I'd drilled 1,000 times in shadows no one else saw. And that wall at the end, the one that had bucked half the guys on their asses? I plant, explode up, fingertips grazing the lip just enough to haul over, dropping light on the other side as the timer beeps to minutes 12. Dead. Silence. Derek's jaw hits the dirt, stammering. No freaking way that's rigged. She juiced the clock or something. But Kane's staring at the display like it personally insulted his mama, finally croaking, Harlan. High school gym class teach you that. And I meet his eyes, voice flat as desert sand. Track team, sir kept me out of trouble, which lands like a bad lie, 'cause we all know no pep rally sprint builds muscle memory like that. But it plants the seed. Riley, our maintenance ghost, tinkering in the sheds catches my eye from the fence, brow furrowed like he's piecing a puzzle, and later that night, Nate in the clinic flips through my file, vaccinations screaming deployed asset. Scars mapping IED blasts, no civilian ER touches. They don't say it yet, but the air shifts, whispers turning from mockery to, who the hell is she really? Weapons qual next, and that's when the damn cracks wide M4 in my hands feels like shaking an old friend's grip, disassembly a blur of pins and springs clicking home in 42 seconds flat. Platoon gaping as parts lay out neat as a surgeon's tray. Kane choking on his chew. YouTube. Harlan? That what they're teaching now? I shrug. Tutorials are free, sir. Biting back the truth that I'd stripped rifles blindfolded in bunkers while mortars rained. And Derek, ego bruised purple, corners me after, voice all gravel and grudge. Lucky fluke. Princess Waddle hand to hand. I'll put you back in your lane. But hand to hand. That's the spark to the powder keg. Kane pairing us deliberate as a hanging judge, Derek looming like a storm cloud, sneering down. I'll go easy, don't want you crying to mommy. And as we circle that mat, his grabs come clumsy aggressive, fueled by that toxic brew of insecurity and pack mentality, the kind that simmers in locker rooms where tough means tearing down anyone smaller. I dodge, redirect, letting his momentum spin him wild, but he snaps face twisting ugly, stand still. Damn it, fight like you mean it, and lunges, fisting my collar, yanking hard to slam me down, fabric ripping sharp across my back like a thunderclap. I counter, hip throw flipping him airborne, crash landing with a thud that echoes, and as I turn, shirt in shreds, the eagle tattoo blazes under the floodlight swings unfurled over eagle's shadow, Iraq 20, coordinates etched like a curse. Kane freezes, clipboard slipping from numb fingers, whispering hoarse, no. Christ, Neri dead. Harlan, all of you were dead. His face draining ghost white cause he was there that night. Voss's right hand whispering coordinates that weren't evac but extermination. Guilt he'd buried under booze and bravado now clawing free. The silence stretches thick as smoke, Derek groaning up from the mat. What the? That ink means something, but Kane's already crumbling, radio fumbling in shaky hands. Command. This is Kane Eagle situation, boss level priority. And me? I lock eyes with him, voice low and laced with that old desert steel. Miss me, Sergeant? Or just surprised the loose and didn't fray quiet? It unravels fast after that. Kane dragging me to admin under pretense of a family call. But it's Voss on the line, voice silk over venom. Emily, darling, thought we'd tucked you away for good. That little Iraq mix-up sorted neat. Imagine my delight when Kane rings up, says the ghost's rattling chains in his sandbox. My grip whites the receiver, pulse thundering but steady. Delight, Major? Or panic? 'Cause I know about the Cayman wires. The smuggler payoffs, how you traded 10 lives for a yacht and a clear conscience. He chuckles, cold as a blade. Business, eminent personal. Eagle's shadow poked the hornet's nest, had to swat it flat. And now? Loose ends get clipped. Kane's got a welcome party inbound. Old pals eager to finish the dance. Click. And there's the trap springing, boots thumping halls as Voss's cleanup cruexeto liaisons turn mercenary storms in. Alarms wailing lockdown, while Derek and two wide-eyed rookies block the door, rifles trembling. Harlan, Orders say you're coming with drill or whatever. I size quick kids playing soldier. No clue they're pawns in a grudge match over dirty money and hiss. Stand down. Haze, this ain't a game. In 2 minutes, pros with live rounds'll paint this place red. And you want to be the wallpaper? Derek box, bravado cracking. You're nuts. But chopper blades whip the air outside. Black Hawks disgorging shadows and tack gear. And that's when my radio tuned to Riley's ghost frequency from a brushed sorry in the mess crackles alive. Shadow 1. This is 2 positioned. Lights out on your mark. Nate chimes in. 3 here. Medbay Locket, let's raise this bird from the grave. It hits like lightning then. The rush of not being alone anymore, really flipping breakers and stutters that blind the halls. Morse 4 left flank clear. Nate barricading with gurneys turned foxholes. And me weaving corridors like old times. Heart splitting between terror and this wild joy that my brothers breathe still. Gunfire cracks distant. Voss's lead dog, Captain Hale, face-eyed pulled from a rubble heap in Mosul, barking my name down the vents. Harlan. Voss says high time to pay the piper for poking his pockets. I ghost a pillar, popping 2 suppressed rounds that drop his spotter non-lethal, snatching his comms mid-fall, voice dripping acid. Hale. Still dancing for the devil? Thought saving your ass bought me a chit. He snarls back, boots pounding closer. Chits don't cover treason. MU and your shadow pups sniff too deep. Voss had empires to protect. But we turn it, Riley dumping Voss's ledger to the servers. Wire transfers glowing like neon sins. Nate blasting packets to every journo from DC to Dubai. Go public or go down swinging. And Hale's feed erupts chaos. Abort evidence hot. Extraction now. I corner him in a side office. Door barricaded. His piece holstered but eyes feral. Wasn't supposed to go south. Harlan Iraq was clean hits on bad guys, till you got nosy. I lean in, eagle ink itching like a brand. Clean? 7 graves say different, tell that to their ghosts. Hail, while you rot in Leavenworth. He slumps, regret cracking his mask. Voss poisoned the well. I followed the flag, thought it was duty. Duty, huh? The word twists in my gut. That old wound of blind trust turned butcher's blade. But before I can press, rotors thunder outside. General Halino relation. Thank Christ, storming in with MPs. Cuffing the crew, voice gravel steady. Shadow 1. Been hunting you ghosts 2 years, Voss's in irons at Bragg. Network crumbling like sandcastles. And there's the hug. Riley and Nate piling in. Arms like anchors pulling me from the drift. Tears hot. An unspoken cause we'd mourned each other in silence. 3 survivors piecing a wing from wreckage. Camp Valor morphs after that. Rechristened Eagle's Rest. A monument to the 7 we lost. Me stepping up as lead instructor, trading recruit rags for stripes that finally fit. Drilling rookies on grid over grid. Derek sidling up one dusk by the course that broke me open. Voice sheepish as a kicked pup. Harlan, I was a jackass. Blind to the steel under the surface. Sorry, don't cut it, but teach me right. I clap his shoulder, seeing the boy clawing toward man. Apologies start. Hayes now earned the respect you mocked, or ship out. Sophie transfers in, eyes fierce with that fire I recognize. You showed him. And women like us? We're the storm, not the shelter. And the missions? They call again. First a ghost hunt in the Balkans, dismantling Voss's splinter cells, shadows slipping borders like smoke. But success stirs ghosts of its own. A parcel slides under my door months later. Photo from Iraq. Our 10 grinning pre-ambush. But an 8th shadow lurks blurred in the back. Posture screaming, still kicking. Note scrawled fierce. The nest wasn't emptied, ready for round 2? My blood chills. 'Cause if Lena Torres, our signal's ghost, listed Kia, but body vanished, breathed free all this time. What truths did she hoard that Voss's rot ran deeper? Maybe brass we saluted. And now she's cornered in some Afghan redoubt. Intel painting a cabal that makes Voss look like a petty thief. General Hale drops the briefing. Sap pics glaring from his tablet. She's got the receipts, corruption to the stars, but compromised bad. You going in means blurring lines, justice or vendetta? I stare out at the grounds where it all ignited. Eagle tattoo thrumming like a heartbeat. Wondering if rising means burning brighter or just feeding the same flames dough we chase every shadow, or let sleeping dogs lie and call it grace. Man, that's the rub. Ain't it line twixt vengeance and virtue, when the system you bled for turns predator, and you're left asking if exposing the rot saves more than it scars. What about you? Ever stared down a betrayal that reshaped your world, or watched community kings topple for greed masked as good? Drop your stories below. Did they rise like an eagle, or clip their own wings? Hit like if this hit home, subscribe for more raw reckonings, and share if you've got a ghost worth naming. Let's unpack the gray together, 'cause in the end, we're all just trying to fly straight through the storm.